All right, thanks, guys. Coming off another winning day on my Patreon website. We went 3-1 in our 4 premium picks on that site yesterday. That's going to put us at 21-7 in our last 28 extra daily picks. We're also 9-2 in our last 11 college basketball tier package plays. If you want more information about that site, link for it is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, guys, we got ourselves a couple guys have texted me already this morning. They've said it's a rather uninteresting slate, but I think we got ourselves a pretty good slate of games here, and I think there are some different spots and angles here where we should be interested. So let's go ahead and start with Xavier taking on St. John's, and that's a nice Big East matchup here. A lot of times when these two teams get together, or really any Big East contest, it's a lot more competitive than you would think on paper. But anyway, Xavier taking on St. John's, 6:30 Eastern tip-off. Xavier's -2 away from home, total at 141.5. We did see a half a point move toward the Musketeers and movement upward on the total. Xavier opened as the 1.5 point favorite, up to -2. Total open 141, up to 141 and a hook. 59% of the consensus are leaning toward Xavier, 53% shaded toward the over. The Musketeers, winners of 3 out of their last 4. They've also gone 5-2 against the number in their last 7. They rank in the top 10 in road offensive rebounding in the country. They're also in the top 15 in road defensive field goal percentage. Now, St. John's on the other side, losers of 6 out of their last 8, really struggling here down the home stretch. They're also giving up 71 points per contest on average. Now, total-wise, St. John's is 60% to the under in their last 10. They're also 10-6 to the under as the official home team. Xavier on the other side, 7 out of their last 9 stayed under the total themselves. They're also 75% to the under as the official road team. I'm going to lean toward the road favorite in this one. Give me Xavier -2 and the under 141.5 in that contest. Next game, UNC taking on Notre Dame, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Fighting Irish are -3.5, total 147 and a hook. Now, we did see a 1-point fade of Notre Dame. We also saw movement upward on the total. The Irish open 4.5, down to -3.5, total open 147, up to 147 and a hook. 53% are leaning Notre Dame, 52% shaded toward the over. The Tar Heels, losers of their last 5 straight. They've also dropped 8 out of their last 10 games. They're shooting just 39% from the field when they travel. They're also averaging just 68 points per contest on the road. One more thing to add about the Tar Heels, they've dropped 6 out of their last 8 straight up on the road as well. Now, Notre Dame on the other side, winners of 4 out of their last 6 themselves. They're also a very impressive 12-3 straight up on their home court. They're averaging 79 points per contest in the friendly confines. They're also 80% against the spread in their last 10. Now, 2 out of Notre Dame's last 3 games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, the Tar Heels, 4-2 to the under in their last 6. 9-3 to the under away from home. I'm going to lean Notre Dame in this game here. Give me Notre Dame -3.5 and the under 147 and a hook in that game. All right, next matchup. It is going to be NC Central taking on NC A&T, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. A&T's -2, total 134. Right now, NC Central is plus $1.25 on the money line. Now, if you like Central in this matchup here, just keep in mind they've covered just 7 out of 16 road games this year. They're also just 46% against the spread when catching the points. They failed to cover against the likes of Florida A&M, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and Delaware State this year. Some pretty lackluster programs there. Now, A&T on the other side, 8-3 straight up in their last 11. They scored 74 points or more in all 8 of those games. They're also 8-3 against the number in their last 11 as well. Now, a couple more things to add about A&T here. They're perfect 7-0 against the spread when laying the points. They're also 4-0 against the spread in their games that tipped off at the current number. Now, A&T is 3-0 to the under in their last 3, 63% to the under on their home court. Meanwhile, Central on the other side, 5-0 to the under in their games that tipped off at the current total. I'm going to lean NC A&T -2 and the under 134 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Monday's college basketball action. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Now, before we go ahead and move on, just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we went 3-1 in our premium picks on that website yesterday. That's going to put us at 21-7 in our last 28 extra daily picks on that site. We're also 9-2 in our last 11 college basketball package plays on that site as well. If you want some more information, the link for that website is in the description section below. And my current record is right on the homepage. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. In our next game I have for you, not currently on our big screen in the back, but it is going to be Bethune-Cookman taking on Delaware State, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. BC is -8 on the road, total at 162.5. We saw a half a point move toward Bethune-Cookman and movement upward on the total. BC opened 7.5 up to -8. Total open 162 up to 162 and a hook. And right now, Delaware State is plus 350 on the money line. Now, Del State's lost their last 4 straight games. They actually just have 3 wins overall for the year at 3-21 straight up on the season. A lot of games they've been underdogs in. As a matter of fact, out of their 19 games when catching the points, they've successfully covered the point spread in just 8 of them. They've also gone just 1-7 against the spread after less than 4 days off. Bethune-Cookman on the other side, they're 75% against the spread after less than 4 days off themselves. They're also 60% against the spread as the official road favorite. Winners of 2 out of their last 3 games, 6-4 straight up in their last 10. Now, BC has scored 78 points or more in those 6 victories. So keep that in mind. These guys do have the ability to score. They're also, one more thing to add about BC. They are 64% against the spread when laying the points this year. Now, total-wise, BC 60% to the over when the total was over 145. Of course, that is way over that today at 162.5. Meanwhile, Del State on the other side, 75% to the over after 4 or less days off. I'm going to lean BC, Bethune-Cookman, -8, and the over 162.5 in that contest. Next game, Morgan State taking on South Carolina State. That's another game that is not on our big screen in the back. 7:30 Eastern tip-off in that contest. SC State's -1.5, total 142 and a hook. We saw a half a point move towards South Carolina State and movement downward on the total. SC State open as the 1-point favorite up to -1.5. Total open 143 down to 142 and a hook. Right now, Morgan State is plus $1.10 on the money line. Now, if you like Morgan State in this matchup here, just keep in mind they're taking on a South Carolina State team who's 2-0 straight up in their last couple of games. SC State's also 5-4 against the spread in their last 9. They're covering 75% of their games on their home court. They're also 86% against the spread when laying the points. Morgan State, on the other side, losers of their last 2 straight themselves. They also failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 3. They scored just 61 points or less in their last 3 straight games, and they failed to cover in 2 out of their 3 games that tipped off at the current number. Now, total-wise, Morgan State is 10-6 to the over on the road, ironically. Meanwhile, SC State 63% to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean South Carolina State -1.5, and the over 142 and a hook in that contest. Next game, Bucknell taking on Holy Cross. 7:05 Eastern tip-off. Bucknell is -5 away from home, total at 147. We saw a half a point fade of Bucknell and movement downward on the total. The Bison open 5.5 down to -5. Total open 147.5 down to 147. Holy Cross is plus 265 on the money line. Holy Cross also, they've lost their last 7 straight. And out of their last dozen games, they've successfully covered the point spread in just 3 of them. Now, Holy Cross has allowed 72 points or more in their last 12 straight games. They're also just 4-7 against the spread on their home court. One more thing to add about Holy Cross here. They've had 12 games this year that they played against teams under 500. They've only covered 4 of them. So not very good against sub-500 teams. Now, Bucknell on the other side, They successfully covered the point spread in their last 2 straight. They actually held their opponents to 68 points or less in 8 out of their last 12. When it comes to the total, Bucknell 17-10 to the under in their last 27. Holy Cross 7-4 to the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the road chalk in this one. Give me Bucknell -5 and the under 147 in that contest. Next game, Iowa State taking on Kansas, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Jayhawks are -16 at home, total at 144.5. We saw a half a point fade of Kansas and movement upward on the total. The Jayhawks opened 16.5 down to -16. Total open 142.5 up to 144 and a hook. 59% are leaning Kansas, 51% on the over. So once again, 59% leaning toward Kansas, 51% shaded toward the over. Now, if you like Iowa State in this matchup here, they only lost 1 game by 16 points or more within their last 10. That was a 90-61 defeat to Oklahoma. Kind of laid an egg there, kind of a stinker. Everybody has one. But once again, Iowa really doesn't get blown out all that much. They have had a slew of double-digit defeats within their last 10, but nothing like a 16-point or more blowout. They are 2-1 against the number in their last 3. They're also averaging 74 points per contest. Now, Kansas, on the other side, they've covered just 6 out of 13 home games this year, and they're shooting just 66% from the stripe. They failed to cover against the likes of Texas, Texas Tech, and Tennessee this year. Now, 4 out of Kansas's last 6 did stay under the number. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10. I think this is a pretty good spot for Iowa State backers. Kansas is going to win this game, but Iowa State should keep it close. I'm going to lean Iowa State let's try that again. Iowa State Cyclones +16 and the under 144.5 in that contest. All right, next and final matchup for the show, not on our big screen, but definitely something to look at. It is going to be Idaho taking on Portland State, 10:05 Eastern tip-off. Portland State's -11, totals at 149. We did see a half a point move toward Portland State and movement downward on the total. They opened 10.5 up to -11. Total open 150.5 down to 149. 54% are leaning Portland State. 52% shaded toward the over. Now, if you like the tater spuds in this one of Idaho, no, the Vandals, but if you like Idaho, they are 3-2 against the spread in their last 5. They're giving up just 69 points per contest when they travel, and they are 9-4 against the spread away from home this year. Portland State just 2-4 straight up in their last 6. They also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 8 home games. Portland State, they're allowing 76 points per contest. Meanwhile, their opponents are shooting 47.2% from the field at Portland State. So when Portland State's at home, their opponents are shooting 47.2% from the field against them. Now, 4 out of Portland State's last 5 games did get over the number. They're also 80% to the over in their last 10. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Idaho +11 and the over 149 in that contest. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on my website later today at patreon.com/BrockPage.